Welcome to the Internet of Things Equation, a podcast where I talk about the Internet of Things domain both from the technical and business perspectives. I'm Koszmalinowski, the Internet of Things advisor and trainer. Today, I've got a very special guest, a person that tries to redefine the way that we think and operate smart home appliances. Hello, Peter. Thank you for joining me today.
Hello, Lucas. Thanks for the invitation. Who am I? I'm Peter. I'm the CEO and founder of Adaptive Home Automation. In a former life, I've been a project engineer and project manager in the Airbus environment. I worked on the A380 and A350 in their early production line as a problem solver all over Europe. Since 2015, I am dedicated to home automation.
So you provide a concept called adaptive home automation. Could you explain in a bit more details what do you mean by adaptive part and how adaptive it actually is?
Yeah, it started in 2015. I read in a board about home automation about a guy who finally managed that every time he enters his bathroom, his favorite music is played. And it made me curious. What happens when I enter his bathroom? Will I hear my favorite music, his favorite music, no music at all? How does the room notice who enters it? And I looked for solutions, but they are all depending on wearable devices. And that's not the best solution because wearable devices can be lost, they can be stolen, they can be damaged, they can just run out of power, and then you are lost inside such a system. So adaptive home automation uses facial recognition just at the entrance of the building, and then inside the building, people are tracked by infrared sensors. This way, we don't have to use that much cameras. This is less obtrusive than a camera solution.
So just to jump in, because that is very interesting. You said that you're using cameras on the entrance, but inside the facility, you don't use the facial recognition anymore. Like, so you're able to track individuals without actually taking pictures of their faces. Is that correct?
That's right. We only track their heat signature inside the building. And as heat signatures are very individual, we can, of course, differentiate between several users inside the building.
Perfect. So that answers my next question about the privacy and security, because you just need to have like the one snapshot of the person to create that virtual ID. And then you for instance, in the private sectors of the building, you don't have to take any pictures, right, of that person.
Right. I have to say much more because I had data privacy already in mind when we first created the concept. And that was in 2015, and GDPRs were not that common then. So I had to rely on some other blueprint, which is from the OECD. They released the guidelines for data privacy, which are 7 really short guidelines, which can be easily adapted to our system.
So basically, your security is designed from the ground up in terms of the whole setup, right?
Yes.
It's not like added feature that you basically plugged on top of working solution, but you designed the whole solution from the security and privacy in mind, which is, I believe, that's the best way to handle that. Could you give us a bit more details how you achieved that infrared tracking functionality? Because this is something that it's not that popular, I believe, and it seems to address a huge need in the market. So could you give us a bit more details?
It is provided by a bigger Japanese company. I went in contact when I first thought about different solutions, how to track people inside the building without the use of cameras. There are lots of solutions possible. You can use infrared. There's a startup in the US which uses ultrasonic for person tracking. There is the smart floor. I just recently went in contact with a German company which provides smart floor solutions, but they are way too expensive to realize in a normal environment. They really ask for, I can't name the price, it's really 160 euros per square meter. And that's not affordable for most of customers. We cannot sell this thing. So our infrared solution is cheaper. It works, just by tracking the people's heat signature. We also can track their metabolic rate, which is really good in home automation because then we can adjust the temperature according to their activity rate. Got an example. When you do exercises at home, you feel exhausted after a couple of minutes. And common home automation wants you then to get your smartphone, to search for the right app, to adjust the heating manually with your smartphone. Adaptive home automation watches, in contrast, your heat signature, watches your metabolic rate, and can reduce the temperature automatically when your heat rises.
Mm-hmm. And does that solution require internet connectivity, or can it work totally offline? And that logic is executed close to the person itself.
Adaptive home automation is the concept works totally offline. We store user data in the house local and can manage everything from there.
That looks like a really solid solution. So, what were the main challenges that you faced? Because for sure, the tracking was just one of them. But could you give us a taste of what have you solved in order to provide that working solution to the end users?
Main challenges. The main challenge is to find investors for such a solution. Really, I've been on a pitch event lately, and I talked to other guys pitching about our solutions, and they all said, "Hey, that's great. That must be something everybody's looking for. You must find money easily." And no, we don't. It was really hard to find investors for such a thing because it is not a hot topic at the moment. Home automation was a topic in 2016, 2017, but now all are moving to AI, generic AI, and there's this point that we also use AI, that we use artificial intelligence before in particular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So, because I believe that home automation is here to stay, right? And it's the same as with the Internet of Things. It used to be a buzzword, but now it's just, something that works in the background and no one really talks about it. And I believe the very same should be true for the home automation. I don't want to play with tons of gadgets just to have the perfect temperature at my home. I just want it to happen magically, right, without any extra guidance. And I believe this is what you want to achieve, right? You want to
Right.
provide that adaptable solution that can meet user needs without manual guidance.
Yes. And this way we can also reduce the interaction with the system dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
The target is to have really in the future no interaction anymore. The system learns your behavior and learns to react to your preferences accordingly, and without you having to use the phone all the time.
And how huge the learning sample is, right? Because you mentioned the AI, and we know that in order to train machine learning models, you need to have pretty decent samples of data. So how is it solved in your system? Like, do you have to guide your system during the initial phase to learn your habits, or we will try to predict your habits from the very first installation?
Yeah, the system has to learn your behavior, and that means it needs a couple of weeks. Depending on the location, it needs a couple of weeks or even months to know how you want it to react to your needs.
Mm-hmm. And that learning happens in your facility, or you need to connect to some kind of backend system in order to execute that learning logic.
No, it happens in the facility itself. It
Perfect.
runs in your daily life.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you mentioned the daily life. Are we talking about the private end users, or your solution can be also adaptive into, let's say, office buildings, hotels, basically enterprise type of customers? How does it look?
Yeah, that's a good question. First, we were targeting only private homeowners, but then I've been told that it is probably just something for the luxury element, for the luxury segment in between homeowners. And so we tried to target as next hotel industry, real estate. Yeah, as I said, office buildings and public buildings.
Mm-hmm.
We are currently negotiating with some hotel chains in Thailand because we've got a partner there and he has got lots of contacts there. He's already engaged in smart home integration in Thailand, and hopefully he finds us the right customers there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how does it differ? Because you said that for the private customers, your system needs to adapt and learn, and that's totally understandable, right? But for the hotel industry, for instance, the guest will stay for one night or few nights. So can your system adapt in that short period of time in order to operate fully, or you need to have some extra functionality or extra hardware in place to support that?
No, we think it can adapt in this time. And we are also targeting returning customers. So people spend their vacation always in the same hotel, or business guests are using the same hotel in different cities, the same hotel brand. And so their preferences can be shared between the different hotels. And so they don't need to adapt in the next hotel because their preferences are already known.
Okay, so that's very interesting. You said that your system can learn in the distributed manner. So once a guest is stayed at one hotel and then goes to the other hotel of the same provider, for instance, that it will be already recognized, and all of the logic custom for that user will be transferred between the branches of the same hotel. Is that correct? So because that
Yes,
sounds like
yes,
really interesting solution.
yes, it should work this way.
Perfect. So speaking about the integration, can your system integrate with other smart home devices and appliances, right? Because we've got a bunch of devices already in field, and as you gave that example with the smart floor, that would be a huge investment just to make that setup, right? And like private owners or business partners, they are not willing to invest huge amount of money. They would like to have something working as quickly as possible with as little investment as upfront. So could you give us a bit overview of that case? So what is the minimal type of investment, and can you leverage existing infrastructure in order to make your system operating for the customer?
These were lots of questions. So first, we are trying to be compatible with every existing solution, with every existing technology. So Zigbee, KNX, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. We are trying to adapt every technology in our system. Therefore, we use OpenHAB technology, which is open source and which helps us to build the interfaces to all devices which can be connected to our system. The other question was about the price. We have a target price in mind, which is $3 per square meter, but it depends a lot on the architecture, on the given architecture, room shapes, ceiling heaves, and yes, It depends on this.
Okay, so you can and just a question about the cameras, because you said that you're using the cameras for the face recognition. So can you integrate with existing, let's say, security system of your customer to get data from those cameras instead of putting your equipment, or do you have to use the hardware that you provide for that part?
No, I'm not sure about this because we are just in this integration phase, but I'm sure that we can use their existing hardware. Yes, we
Okay,
don't have to provide hardware by ourselves, except the sensors, the infrared sensors. That's something we will provide by ourselves.
yeah, that's understood. What's next? Because you've got the framework. You created the framework that provides really stable solution, and I was just curious if you plan to add some extra features on top of that framework once you've got founding or bigger adoption of your solution.
Yes, of course. Because first we started with this private homeowner idea, and then we had, of course, to adapt to the needs of the hotel industry, for example. They have different needs, they have additional needs. They ask for compatibility with their already existing hotel management software, and that's things we have to integrate as well. Next step will be real estate. They also have different requirements. They need some additions. We had a request about a carport solution, for example. I did not think about such a thing so far, but surely we can integrate something similar also for real estate industry. Then whatever comes, I'm open for every request and we find a solution.
Perfect. So, speaking about requests, how can people reach out to you if they would like to know more about your services, or maybe they would like to install your functionality into their hotels, business offices, or even private homes? What's the best way to contact you?
Via our website, which is adaptivehomeautomation.com, adaptive home automation one web, or via email, which is peter@adaptivehomeautomation.com, or via LinkedIn is also a possibility.
Perfect. So, in that case, thank you very much, Peter, for joining me today and for sharing insights about your offering. I'm sure that we will hear more about you, because it sounds like this really solved the need in the market in very efficient way. So thank you for joining my invitation.
Thanks for being that.
Thank you for listening. Go to thefingers.com to find more materials about the Internet of Things domain. My name is Łukasz Malinowski, the Internet of Things advisor and trainer.